We are back.
Yeah.
Peter and Mac at it again. This has been just really fun, Peter, I gotta say. Just getting the opportunity to sit down and have conversations and just an excuse to hang out.
That's what summer is for, right?
Yes,
Hanging out.
exactly. Yes, and we get to talk about our 5 minutes for family article. That's what we've been doing. And the one that we had last week, I need your help with that, okay? Because I think for me and for many people, it feels a little daunting, just going through all the information. And so I want to sit and maybe pick your brain a little. Is that okay?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay,
Let's do it.
okay. Well, you know what? You begin by talking about summertime, summer pastimes. And when you talk to me about summer pastimes, I'm like, my mind automatically goes to sports. I'm like, we had the opportunity to sit around. You met my dad. I'm like, so he is all about sports. He's championship. That's his word. So when you talk to me about summer pastimes, I think sports. I think, my mind starts going to next year, the World Cup. It's going to be here. But let's not get off track. You mentioned court watching as a summer pastime. Is that a real thing? I'm like,
yes, court watching is a real thing. And it does sound like a sport thing. We're not talking about the French Open,
okay,
which was last weekend, but we're talking about a different court. We're talking about the Supreme Court of the United States. And they have a very specific time of year where a lot of the major opinions come down, and they tend to be the more controversial opinions, dealing with those issues in society where our culture tends to be divided. So here we are in June, and the month of June tends to be, particularly the end of the month of June, tends to be the time when those opinions that have been long awaited throughout the course of, in the case of many of these cases, several years, will come down from the Supreme Court. So we started by talking about a very important religious freedom case that was handed down related to Catholic charities. And then we kind of teased that there's some other cases that we're waiting. And we're talking about important issues. We're talking about the rights of parents to control the education and upbringing of their children by opting out of sexually graphic education. We're talking about the ability of communities to protect children from online pornography and harms. And we're talking about how our culture deals with this massive agenda called the trans agenda, and the ability of states to step in there and protect young people who are being told to undertake very dangerous and reckless medical interventions. So all of those things are in front of the Supreme Court right now, and we just wanted to let people know, hey, keep an eye out for these things, because they really will have an impact, not just this month, not just this year, but really over the course, they set the course of the next many years, maybe decades in the United States.
Wow. Yeah, so these are decisions that are going to shape the future of not only for ourselves, but for our children and our children's children. So that's why it's so important to know what's going on, right?
For sure.
Okay. And we are going to be definitely talking about all those things that are happening right now. This is the first one of many that are still coming, right?
Yes. And let's just say a word about this Catholic Charities case. It has to do with a very specific form of a government program, unemployment taxes. But really the principle there is crucial. The idea is, does the government have the power to decide for itself which kinds of services are closely related to an organization's religious identity or not closely related to a religion's identity? And on the Supreme Court, 9-0, said the government has no place in deciding, okay, this part of what a organization does is part of just service generally, and this part is just about religion generally. They all agreed that the government just is utterly ill-equipped to step in there and make that distinction. So that's good news for people of all faiths in the United States. It means that our government is going to be very careful about the First Amendment and careful not to engage in something that could result in favoring one form of religious practice over another form of religious practice. And ultimately, as a Christian, it means that the way that the gospel is shared is not going to be something that the government is going to try and parse and mess up in the way that only the government can mess things up.
Wow, how interesting. And it's all laid out on our 5 Minutes for Family email. So if you are not signed up, if you are not getting those emails, please go to our page, azpolicy.org, and sign up for the newsletter because like Peter said, this is the first one of many that are also in the pipeline that will most likely come down this month. So we will keep you updated, and hopefully we'll be back, I don't know, maybe next week with another update. But this is always fun, and we get to talk about sports. We'll try to incorporate more sports in.
I think it's unavoidable. Sports is going to be part of the conversation somehow, but it's always going to be exciting in June.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Peter.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.